I might start the introductions as Lee is setting up here. So our next presenters are Jacinta, Tobin and Toby Martin. Jacinta, you've already met, if you were here yesterday for the opening, a proud Darug woman of mixed race who's worked for a long time with local and international communities. Currently she is working on her PhD, Nura Barayegol Sing for Country. She's a director for the Yarramundi Kids Foundation and she's won multiple awards for her work, and she presented a beautiful welcoming up in the Botanic Gardens yesterday. We also have here Toby Martin from the Conservatorium. Well, he's a songwriter, musician and historian, the author of Yodeling Boundary Riders, country music in Australia since the 1920s. His recent albums include I Felt the Valley Lifting and Songs from Northam Avenue. He's the lead singer of the rock band Youth Group and is currently the co-chief investigator on the ARC project, Hearing the Music of Early New South Wales, 1788 to 1840, of which this symposium is part. He's a lecturer in contemporary music at the University of Sydney. They're going to give a performance about kind of exploring notions of history and old songs and new songs, and really look forward to hearing from Toby and Jacinta. Thank you.
Second? Oh, there we go. Is that coming through for everybody? Great. Thanks, Jodie. I'd like to just acknowledge that we're on Gadigal land, well, deep in the earth of Gadigal land right now, and just like to thank Jacinta for that amazing song and welcome yesterday up on the top there, which just started off things with so well, and so just like to say that, yeah, I'm here with, I guess, respect and humility, and I've just value so much learning from Aboriginal people, and thank you for showing a way forward, really, that we can go together. So I'm just going to say a few general things about what we're going to do, and then we're going to kick into it. So it's a bit more like a gig, I suppose. We're just going to do some songs, but we're talking about the ways in which we're going to frame it beforehand. So this is kind of a bit of a summing up of things we were talking about. We want to think about a number of different things simultaneously. We want to consider how we might conceptualise place through song, how thinking about place might be based on ancestral and intergenerational knowledge, but how thinking about place might be based on imported or newcomer ideas. How connection and belonging is communicated via song, and we'll be performing songs that we wrote ourselves about Sydney, Gadigal country, but also about Darug country and Emu Plains. But we'll also be doing some older songs about these places that have been handed down in some cases, in other cases printed in newspapers in the 19th century. And we're going to sort of see, I suppose, what it's like to juxtapose some of those songs and put them beside each other. We can read environmental histories in these songs, the way landscapes were sung about, shows different knowledge systems, the different ways places have been thought about. We can also get a sense of what places might have been like 200 years ago and more, a time when Emu Plains didn't have any shopping centres, a time when Sydney Harbour was a place of safety, to paraphrase a song that Jacinta's going to do. We also were talking about how when you sing something, you embody it, singing and breathing it. Songs express lived experience, they express personal histories as well as bigger social histories, or maybe they're both things at the same time. So yeah, we hope to raise questions about the relationship between the past and the present. Jacinta was saying, got to know your past so you have an anchor, but also the past is present now because it's in us. Yeah, so this idea of thinking about time as not necessarily being linear, but having these kinds of connections, a dynamic relationship. Or to quote another one of your songs, you can't reimagine until you've learned from your history. Yeah. So Jacinta's going to do the first couple of songs. So, yeah.
Thank you, Toby. And thank you everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to dance earlier, and Jenny, and thank you to Amanda and Jackie. They're my supervisors, and God love you, you're brilliant. So I'd like to acknowledge my elders past and present, and those emerging and those present today. We're always learning from Sydney Way, because so much happened here in country. And so all my mothers have been born from this country, and a few Irishmen along the way, obviously. And the first song I want to sing for you is actually the only song I was able to gather until we've found archival things, but this was given to me orally by my Auntie Joan Cooper and my Auntie Betty Locke. They're past now, but they're still here. See if you can recognise which bird they're talking about. Because some say Goginini is coastal talk, but I'm an inland girl, so I wonder if you can pick up which one it is. Kuchi uchi uchi kookaburra bami, kuchi uchi 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 uchi. Kuchi uchi uchi kookaburra bami, kuchi uchi 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 uchi. Kuchi uchi 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 uchi. And so I actually think that's the first kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, because translated it's actually talking about a kookaburra, and he's a smelly fella. That's why Coogee, that's what Coogee Beach. It's a smelly place because the seaweed would come up onto the beach. But also the balmy is the tree, and he's laughing. Oochie, 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 oochie. So, I feel sorry for those men at work guys who got sued. So I just want to claim it back to give them a bit of moral support. The other one, and this is a new one for me, and I wish my cousin Sian was here because she did wonderfully with me the other day, and it's great because now the family's having enough confidence to sing in language and reclaim who they are. And this was the fisherman's song, or fishing women, because a lot of our women, and that's in the background you might have seen the nui. That's a canoe made by local fellas. They brought it here for yesterday, but we've asked to keep it here because it's just to remind you, instead of the big flash boats that you see out in the harbour, there was some really just mild-looking characters out there just doing their thing and having a good time. And so this is the fishing song. And actually, my cousin Sian was out on the harbour only a couple of months ago, and she's from Kitty's Line and could have been the one who was recorded singing this song. So, yeah, this is for the family. Iye wanjua jangu wangangu mangani waka nalawu barabula barama. Iye wanjua jangu wangangu mangani waka nalawu barabula barama. Iye wanjua jangu wangangu mangani waka nalawu barabula barama. So we were talking about the language to the family, and I rang one of the cousins. I said, "Did you ever hear this word wakai?" And she said, yeah. I always say someone's got a bung eye and they're wakai. And then Sian was saying, "I had an auntie wakai," and I said, "Don't tell me she had a bung eye," and she goes, "Yeah." So we think the mob were calling up to the fish and saying, "Hey, all you fish with bad eyes, come and jump in, come up, boy," because Bora is our sky, come up to the top and the barami, the fish hook, and make my fish hook a fishing hook. So it was sort of like, because we were laughing at it when we heard it first off, because we thought, sort of remind us of, if you go down to the woods today, you know. So it was a bit bizarre singing it, but it was a lot of fun. So around the same time when that was recorded, my grandmother down the track, 6 generations, she was married to Bennelong, Dickie's son Bennelong. And this is Bennelong Point, and that's what, so I call myself a Sydney Aborigine. And So he died and she married the first legal marriage of black and white in Australia. So Blacktown was literally named after my family, the Blackstown. And I wrote this song because I thought about Robert Locke and how he must have felt when he was coming out, because she was allotted him, which meant he was still a convict and she was his master. We had women's rights back then. So this one's for Robert. Oh, Maria, how long can they keep us down? Oh, Maria, I found myself in a strange land. I once was a free man. Oh, Maria, let me tell you of my town. Oh, Maria, no food could be found to sweat. I am bound. Oh, Maria, my life I give to you. Oh, Maria, our bloodline now runs new. And my love for you grew. And it grew for Maria. Oh, Maria. Oh, Maria. Oh, Maria. Oh, Maria. Death has come to me. Oh, Maria, can our family now run free? And is there a gravestone there for me? So Maria and Robert Locke are actually buried at Prospect, and that's right next to the Great Western Highway, which is an old songline, and both their graves are not marked. So we're hoping one day that might change.
Thanks, Jacinta. It was great to hear that fishing song down here too. Like, yeah, down lower. Sorry. I'm going to pick up on the convict theme. This song is called The Plains of Emu, and it was published in 1829. And the story behind it is, well, actually, it was pointed out to me by Graham Skinner, who's the person behind Austral Harmony, who's a big part of the research project, which, well, the research project is very much based on that and inspired by that database. And he pointed out this song, Plains of Emu, was written. It was a poem written by a guy called Reverend John McGarvey, who published it in a newspaper in Sydney in 1829, which was quite a popular thing to do, is to publish a poem and then say, you sing it to this tune if you want to sing it. So it's original lyrics, and you're supposed to sing it to an Irish tune called Erin Go Bra. McGarvey's kind of an interesting person, and I think probably people who are interested in linguistics and language, he lived in Emu Plains, but he put together a dictionary of some Aboriginal words that he'd heard there. He was a Presbyterian minister from Scotland, and he was sort of associated with the more, I guess, progressive politics of the time. So this song, he wrote it from the point of view of he wrote it from the point of view of a convict, and the singer, the person who the point of view is from, is exiled from Ireland. And so the poem is about his comparing Ireland, the place of glens, lakes and rivers, to the landscape of Emu Plains, the blackbutts and wattle. And so it's an interesting piece of writing, because there's a sense that it's strange, but there's also quite a strong sense of beauty in it, actually, which is interesting. And there's also, it's also about labour, because this person's job is to, quote, fell the tall gums. And so there's lots of interesting things, I think, to unpack in it. I mean, partly when I first played this, we did it in Blackheath, and Jacinta said, you get a sense of, that's what Emu Plains would have looked like. It would have had forest and trees, So you get that from it. And I think it's an interesting song to do. But I guess as I've been playing it, I kept on thinking, how do we put this work today? And can we put them up just as they are? And so one thing I've been experimenting with is intervening into the material of the song itself. And so it's got a bridge that I guess I sort of added. And the bridge is it was inspired by, I work a lot with Uncle Roger Knox, who's a Gomeroi country singer and elder. And he was telling me how he and his relatives used to have to clear land in Gomeroi country, so clearing all the trees, including sometimes sacred trees. And so it just made me think that in this process of clearing the land, this desecration is going on as well. So that's what. And so the lyrics in this part also come from a newspaper article from 1827, which is more about clearing land. So anyway. And the final thing I'll say about it, sorry, this is the longest explanation of the song ever, but the final thing I'll say is that I guess too, it's just aesthetically trying to find ways for these songs to work with, I guess, music that sort of works for me in a sense. It works in 2022 with, I guess, in an aesthetic kind of way, which I think is another challenge, is sort of restaging music. Sometimes it's interesting to think about ways that we might adapt it to make it a bit, make it a bit more now. It might be interesting to talk about how that happens, but later on. Okay, let me just get my notes here.
Oh, farewell, my country, my kindred, my lover. Each morning and evening is sacred to you, while I toil the long day without shelter or cover, and fell the tall gums, the black button and blue. Full often I think of and talk of the Arun. Thy heath-covered mountains are fresh in my view. Thy glen lakes and rivers, Loch Conn and Kilkerran, while chained to the soil on the plains of Emu. The ironbark and wattle and gum tree extending their shades, under which rest the shy kangaroo, may be felled by the blessed, have hope of them bending to cheer the rude soil, thou far exiled from you. But alas, without hope, peace or honor to grace me, each feeling was crushed in the bud as it grew, whilst never is stamped on the chains that embrace me, and endless my thrall on the plains of Emu. Hard, hard was my fate, far from thee to be driven, unstained, unconvicted, as sure was my due. I love to dispense of the freedom of heaven, but force came the day, and I suffer for you. For this hand never broke what by promise was plighted. Deep treason is song to my country near you. No base-hearted coin in my coffery lighted, yet unchained I remain on the plains of Emu. Dear mother, thy love from my bosom shall never depart, but shall flourish untainted and true, nor grieve that the base in their malice should ever upbraid me, and none to give malice hurt you. Spare her the tear, and no charge lay upon her, and weep not my Nora her griefs to renew, but cherish her age till night closes on her, and think of the swain who still thinks but of you. but your name still shall live, though like writing on water, when confined to the notes of the tame cockatoo. Each wattle scrub echo repeats to the other your names, and each breeze hears me singing anew. Be dumb, be my tongue, may my heart cease emotion. If the isle I forget where my first breath I drew, each affection is warmed with sincerest devotion, for the tie is unbroken on the plains of Emu.
I actually grew up in Emu Plains. And we used to have emus in Emu Plains. There's no emus there now, but hopefully we might get them back one day. So the families always wrote songs, and this one was one that was handed down to me by two different aunts, two different verses. Well, Blacktown Joe, it is me name, and Blacktown is me station, and there ain't no shame in me being black, 'cause I got a lot of relations. Well, grab a little gin or jump in, dance a wild corroboree. Well, Blacktown Road is a bugger of a road, it has no food or water, and I met a little gin with her nose caved in, she asked me to marry her daughter. Well, Blacktown Joe, it is me name, and Blacktown is my station, and there ain't no shame in me being black, 'cause I got a lot of relations. Well, grab a little gin or jump in, dance the wild corroboree. And just to let people know, gin is our word for woman. That's actually a Sydney word. That was our word, and we're taking it back. And we're taking it back with honour instead of it being used in derogatory terms. And same with the word. There's lots of words that they used from us and made them sound nasty to everybody else. And they're not. They're actually our words. I want to also sing a song that the aunties... I know I'll do the Bridge Ahoy in a sec because Toby's going to jump in and we're going to do it together. And I actually came in by the ferry, so it was kind of cool, but kind of not. Only because you see all the McMansions and you think, hey, well, my mob was there. Anyway, but that's life. This one I want to share because this is to honour the aunts as well and all the family. Wee-roo-wee, boo-boo-woo. Wee-roo-wee, boo-boo-woo. Yana Nindi Yana Janui. Aboriginal women strong, Aboriginal women strong. Walk with you, walk with me, Janui. Wee-roo-wee, boo-boo-woo. Wee-roo-wee, boo-boo-woo. Yana Nindi Yana Janui. Because the aunts used to say, we never heard the word Durrick. We always heard it like a bird call. And I used to have this little bird in my head that used to go, "Turk, turk." And then I said it to my auntie one time and she burst into tears. She said she hadn't heard that since she was a child. And so we're just trying to keep our language alive orally as well as what was recorded, because I need to keep my oral alive as well as what was recorded. Toby, you want to come and join in? We didn't even... Okay. Bridge ahoy, you're sailing Sydney Harbour. Well, bridge ahoy, you're sailing the seas. This used to be a place of peace and shelter, where the whales used to birth their families. We're sailing bridge to bridge, we're sailing on the waves of life. But no matter how many bridges you build, there's a gap between you and my life. Well, bridge ahoy, you're sailing Sydney Harbour. And bridge ahoy, you're sailing the sea. This used to be a place of peace and shelter, where the whales used to birth their families. Crazy when you think about it, but there was birthing of whales out in our harbour times past. Wouldn't it be beautiful if we could get that back? Thank you.
Are you going to do a song on the pianos? Yeah, you are. Yeah, cool. Yeah, we're going to use the piano. Is that all right? Is that ready to go? Yep, cool. So yeah, I just kind of, I guess, riffing off the harbour idea, and this is a I guess this is a song that I wrote a while ago called Nilex Nights, and it's just about this area really. It's about the fig trees and the harbour and King's Cross, and I guess a social history and a personal history and that kind of thing. So I thought it'd be kind of given the harbour thing. Ah, you're right. Let it speak for itself. Yes.
It's raining hard on the new cold side. I'm walking home after closing time. Through the fall of the ghosts of drinkers who raise their glasses up to sink us. Come on, people, let's cause some offense. We are not evil, just trying to make some sense. All the losers, liars, ratbags, drunks, the bored and the insane, their life makes sense because life makes no sense to them. I can truly say without pretense that the only place where things make sense is lying in the ocean's briny arms, where you feel as small as you really are. Come on, sons, this rod, and with their bones remain. Oh, be still, yeah, be still. Stop the world a while until I get my breath back. Give me today, oh, give me a moment's grace. We climb the fence into the park and find a spot in the dewy grass. The morning bay keeps its weary secrets, kept by the convict road beneath us. Come on, people, let's cause some offense. We are not evil, just trying to make some sense. All the losers, lies, ratbacks, junks, the bored and the insane built this raft, and with their bones remain.
Yeah, I don't get to play the piano much because the little old rattler at home is now really out of tune, and then when I go to play it on a tuned piano I go, oh, does it sound like that? So I hope I get it right. And actually I wrote this song with Kevin Hunt, and it was first performed here a while ago for Sydney, Music of Sydney or something, a while ago. Time goes by. Getting older. No, you can't deny me, 'cause I'm a product of your Australian history. From Blue Mountains to Sydney, this is my family. No, you can't deny me, a Sydney originally. No, you can't deny me. Too many times we've stood behind the disguise. Too many times we've watched our history whitewashed in lies. Well, Australia, you live in an old and ancient country, something one world should be proud of, and yet we still seem to have some trouble here. Well, Australia, sorry, that's just the way it's got to be, because guess what? This is my country. Too many times we've heard of a policy and a reform. And how come too many times black has to constantly white learn? No, you can't deny me, 'cause I'm a product of your Australian history. From Blue Mountains to Sydney, this is my family. No, you can't a Sydney originally. No, you can't deny me. Too many times we stood behind the disguise. We chucked an intervention in, then we gave them uranium surprise. No, you can't deny me, 'cause I'm a product of your Australian history. Thank you. We're running out of time. They never rushed us at Blackheath, though, did they? You want to join along? Do you want to join along? Do you want to join along? How can we tell our history when it keeps getting softened to make it easy? Generational scars, broken families, and too many bars. We still live with government policy. How come Australians don't know their own history? Generational scars, broken families, and too many bars. Children removed and bad behaviour taught. Children grew up to be adults who fought. Generational scars, broken families, and too many bars. Domestic violence in the air. Look out, here comes welfare. Generational scars, broken families, and too many bars. Now children removed. Sorry, I'm thinking of Siang, the one who helped me open this evening symposium. Out of 6 generations, she's the first one not removed. So it hurts. Now many policies have come and gone. Still too many children don't live at home. Generational scars, broken families, and too many bars. But the times are changing, and our stories are now being told. And we're taking back sides for true healing to unfold. So no more broken hearts turn to stone. No more children feeling alone. No more history when it ends to hide. 'Cause only love and peace is gonna be on our side. And with beautiful hearts and minds like yours, we can have new beginnings. Didgeridoo, thank you. It's a hard story down here, but it's our story.
Yes, we've run out of time for questions in this session, but I know you two are going to come down to the Dean's courtyard for drinks and snacks, and maybe we can have questions down there. Thank you so much for that really amazing performance, travelling through time, back and forth, very moving songs, and also got a bit of a laugh too. So thank you everybody that presented now, and we'd all like to you to join us down at the Dean's courtyard.